All right, let's finish this out real quick.
In years. Lester?
All right, Richard Engel tonight. Thank you. Now to the high anxiety in the airline industry and the devastating prediction today from the CEO of Boeing. Here's Tom Costello.
Calling the threat to the airline industry grave, the prediction from Boeing CEO to Savannah Guthrie on Today sent shockwaves through Wall Street and airline offices.
Do you think there might be a major U.S. carrier that just has to go out of business?
Well, I don't want to get too predictive on that subject, but yes, most likely, something will happen when September comes around.
Dave Calhoun did not.
It's just like ask yourself how they just know everything. What's happening is that they're just, not that it matters, because the money all goes back to the same shit eaters and incest nasty people that they call royal families. But it's just like, I don't know if the word consolidate is the right word, but it's like if you have 10 companies, all right, and you push 8 of them to go bankrupt, and then the last 2 companies buy the other 2. I mean the ones that are going bankrupt. They're trying to minimalize everything. Why? Because I believe that the system that's going to happen, they're trying to make it as easy as possible, so they don't have to, for tracking, for a bunch of things, That's what I believe. But it's happening everywhere. It's all controlled. Controlled demolition.
Say which airlines are most at risk, but with few exceptions, every airline is flying less than 10% full. On September 30th, the federal government's bailout money comes to an end. Airlines are already warning that as many as 100,000 employees could be laid off if passengers don't return in large numbers.
But how can we return if you're not allowing us to? I wonder how that makes any sense. Because it's controlled.
You don't know who has what and how clean things have been, at least on the flight.
Flying.
That's another sheep. Oh my God, everything's so dirty. If you lived your life and everything that you're around is clean, if the whatever information they're going off of as far as how we get sick is real, then you would die instantly because your immune system has nothing to be strong for. I mean, for God's sakes, there's people who are pretty much melting their skin off for using too much sanitizer. And I'm not dirty. I'm not a filthy person. I know people are probably going to think that, whatever. I take showers at the max. I wait 2 days, depending on what I do. If I'm just sitting in the house, there's no point. They say you shouldn't wash your hair 100, every single day because it strips of all the oils in your hair and in your skin. But I don't. I could be doing construction work in a dirty building, all right, and when it's lunchtime, I'm grabbing my sandwich or whatever I'm eating, and I'm eating it. I'm not worried about, oh my God, I gotta go wash my hands. Oh my God, I'm gonna get sick. And I'm not saying that I don't wash my hands. I'm not saying that I'm not clean, that I don't clean my room or whatever the case is. But what I'm trying to say is, take it from somebody who isn't taking these stupid precautions as far as keeping sanitizer on you, spraying everything down, wearing a mask 24/7, all of that. And I'm fine. Completely fine. You know? I sleep with a dog. Obviously, the dog doesn't get a shower every day. Not to say that my dog stinks or he's dirty, but it's a dog. It's an animal. It's got dander. I'm allergic to dander. I'm allergic to dogs. Anything that's got dander. Horses, cats, rats, whatever. I'm allergic to all of them. I believe that's because of these shots that I got a long time ago. But we're not even going to go there. And I'm not getting sick every week. Shit, I barely get sick every year. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, last year, I maybe got sick twice. Maybe.
In a COVID and post-COVID world, expect airline and airport face mask requirements.
So you're telling me you're going to open up. We're still going to have to wear these immune suppressors. And we're going to have to keep our distance. It's a fucking joke. It's all a psyop. They are conditioning you to not speak to nobody. They don't want you. I mean, we're so conditioned now, before this happened. People don't say hi to each other. People don't talk to each other. If you get lucky, you'll have that conversation. And now, we're supposed to be 6 feet apart everywhere. What do you think's happening to being friendly? What do you think's happening to conversating with your neighbor? All the way down to your family members, your cousins, your friends, your co-workers, all of that. You're distancing from them. You're not talking to them. You're not sharing your ideas. You're not explaining what's going on. All I want to do when I run into people who are terrified is to tell them they have nothing to worry about. But these people are so freaked out when they hear shit like that, they label you as crazy. And people don't see it. This is psychological. They're ruining. They know that the masses are about to rise. They fucking know it. Why? Because they've been studying it for fucking years. Hundreds of years. And they're doing everything in their name to single us all out. Because they know if we fucking rise up, all of us, not all of us, because not all of us are going to do it. And some of them are clones and they don't have souls. They're just what are they called? Automatons, whatever. And they just roam the earth. Why people can't see this, I don't know. I don't know. But you got to think about that kind of shit. Remember, they don't live for the moment. They put in plans now so that a year, a week, a day, a month, whatever down the road in the future, it plays out the way that they want it to play out. But they also label it something different so that we accept it and go along with it. The problem is here is that they picked the perfect thing to scare people with. You can't see it. You don't know where it's at. There's no way for you to track it because we don't have the technology. Everyone's terrified that they're going to die Everyone's terrified that their parents are going to die, their kids are going to die, all that. So you give in and you listen to these fucks tell you a bunch of bullshit to scare you while telling you not to be scared. It's a fucking joke. It irritates the shit out of me. I'm a little bit better now, but this morning I was ready to fucking cry my eyes out. Started texting old friends and shit, telling them how much I miss them and I love them. And that I would do anything to be able to see them again. I would do anything. I'm not going to say much, but I would do anything just to be touched by a certain somebody. Not sexually. Well, I mean, that would work too, of course. But I would do anything to hold you. And you know who you are. You're probably never going to watch this video. It's just fucking depressing. If I had somebody here who I loved, and they love me, and they care for me, it would be so much easier. Why? Because I'd have something to be happy about. I'd have somebody to live for, you know? But I'm just at wit's end, man. I'm so fucking irritated and so depressed and so sick and tired of hearing this bullshit.
Feet of separation while lining up, airport health screenings. A new scanner checked for elevated body temperatures at Payne Field in Washington state. Now, 346 airports nationwide are calling on the TSA to check every passenger's temperature at security. The TSA so far not embracing the idea.
We have to make certain that those who choose to travel by air make it through the airport and feel as though they are as safe as they were if they were in their own home.
When will airline travel get back to normal? Boeing CEO again with a sobering assessment.
It might take us 3-5 years to get there.
Meanwhile, Delta.
Let's see. 3 to 5 years. We're in 2020. 5 years is 2025. That's the end of the mass roundup agenda. And it might not be 2025, it might be 2024. Who knows? Like I said, they know something we don't. They're planning to round up 10 to 15 million of us. And they're already doing it. Some they're going to kill. Some they're going to take down underground. Some they're going to leave up here because they're going to take the chip. And all these people are going to disappear. And nobody's going to bat an eye. Why? Because it's not being reported on shitstream news. If I disappeared tonight, nobody would know. No one.
United and American Airlines are requiring passengers to wear masks to board. They can be denied boarding if they don't. But once the plane leaves the gate, flight attendants will ask, not force passengers to comply. Lester?
All right, Tom Costello, thanks. Now to that NBC News exclusive. Even if a vaccine is developed, is the U.S. prepared to deliver the millions of doses that would be available? Experts say no. But our Gabe Gutierrez talked to a CEO who says his company can solve a critical roadblock.
I mean, can you imagine? Not that it would happen. Not that I don't know. Maybe it could. I don't know how it works. But imagine if, oh, well, you know, we're not going to be able to get all these shots out to everyone. So we're just going to load up a big vat. And we're going to spray it all over the sky. Come outside on this date. Everyone can get vaccinated. Yeah, it probably doesn't work like that. But you never know with these people.
Global race to make a vaccine underway. Scientists are now sounding the alarm about how to mass produce it. People are worried about, do we have enough medical glass to be able to put all of these doses of the vaccine into vials so that they can be administered? And that's a serious issue to think about right now. Late today, the Trump administration announced a new $138 million effort called Project Jumpstart to dramatically increase domestic production of syringes. The Departments of Defense and Health and Human Services will now partner with health startup Abiject Systems America. The company makes plastic pre-filled syringes.
Nobody has ever used an injectable pre-filled syringe made of plastic in the tens of millions or even in the millions, because nobody had ever figured out how to attach a needle to a plastic-filled container with a drug.
In an exclusive interview, CEO Jay Walker says the syringe will be made faster and will cost less than $1 to produce, much cheaper than the cost of making glass vials to hold vaccines.
Not only did it take 6 months or more to make, that's if you need millions. If you need tens of millions or hundreds of millions, they could take way longer to make. So that's a big problem.
And those glass vials are largely manufactured overseas. There's also the stoppers needed to close the vial. Experts warn that our reliance on an overseas supply chain is a major national security issue. Public health experts say that a COVID-19 vaccine might require 2 doses to ensure immunity.
Excuse me? It's a joke. How do people believe this? Oh my god, you might need two shots now. You know what that tells me? The first shot, I want to call it a precursor. I don't know if that's the right word for it. But that's stage 1. And I don't know what he's going to say after this. If he's going to say, oh yeah, get a shot one time and then wait a little bit and then get the next one. That to me sounds like a death shot. Let's give you the first one to get it in you. And then we're going to give you this other thing that's going to initiate your death, essentially. I know that sounds extreme, but these people are extreme. Very.
I mean, about 650 million doses just for the U.S. population alone.
We've been leaning in on this supply chain to ensure that when a vaccine is ready to go, we will have the necessary supplies to actually administer it.
There is still no clear timeline for a vaccine, but experts say we must prepare for it now. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News, New York.
At the Supreme Court today, a cliffhanger case over President Trump's financial records. Our Pete Williams joins us now. Pete, did the justices offer any clues about their thinking?
I think so, based on their questions and oral argument by telephone conference call. It did seem that a majority of the court is prepared to rule that House Democrats went too far in seeking years of financial records from President Trump and his family members, but it might allow a narrower demand for documents if it's tied to some specific legislation that Congress is considering. But the court also seemed inclined to say that a New York State grand jury...
Don't he look like a goddamn Cheeto? I mean, look at him. Looks like buttered popcorn with a lot of cheese. With that cloud, yellow cloud he has on his head. This is your savior that y'all believe. He's on our side. You know, he's got to keep making little moves here and there so Fauci and everyone else doesn't notice. Like, give me a fucking break. Really? I cannot believe people believe that. But trust the plan. QAnon all day. It's a joke.
Can subpoena President Trump's tax returns. None of the justices seem to accept his argument that presidents are immune from all parts of the criminal justice process. So this appeared to be a mixed day for the president, and we'll know when we get the rulings by July. Lester.
All right, Pete Williams, thanks very much. Up next, as we continue here in the middle of the pandemic, trouble could be brewing in the tropics. We're tracking what could be the first tropical threat of the season.
You see how they just keep rolling shit out? I told you guys. Massive death. Why? Because they're bringing out everything. Natural. They call them natural disasters. We've got deadly diseases flying around, natural disasters, murder hornets, shortages of all kinds, food being wasted, the economy's being shitted on. They're hitting us at every angle. This is the start of chaos. Best believe it.
We're back now with the harrowing scene today caught on camera in South Florida as a small plane hit some power lines and crashed on a road. One of the two people on board was killed, the other seriously injured. Officials said the plane was having mechanical trouble and the pilot was trying to make it back to an airport. Tonight, we are tracking what could become the first tropical threat of the season. Forecasts show a tropical disturbance could form off the southeast coast of the U.S. by this weekend. It's not expected to make a direct hit, but it could bring rip current and swells to the coast early next week. Up next tonight, the return of the king, and wait until you hear where. Finally, tonight, in our latest installment of Nightly.
Yeah, I don't know what this has to do with anything, but I'll see y'all next time.